Edmund Campion was an English Jesuit priest and martyr. While on a secret counter-missionary journey, Campion was captured by priest hunters in Anglican England. Convicted of high treason, he was hanged, drawn, and quartered at Tyburn. Campion was born in London on January 25, 1540, the son of a bookseller near St. Paul's Cathedral. He obtained his early education at Christ's Hospital School and, at the age of 13, was picked to deliver the complimenting address when the last Catholic Queen Mary visited the city in August 1553. A governor of Christ's Hospital took a special interest in him and sponsored him as a scholar to the prestigious St. John's College in Oxford, where he became a junior fellow in 1557 and took the obligatory oath of supremacy. The oath of supremacy required anybody seeking public or church office in the Kingdom of England to swear loyalty to the monarch as supreme governor of the church. Failure to do so would be viewed as treason. No Catholic was allowed to work in the government or the church, and whoever practiced Catholicism lived under oppression and in constant fear of priest hunters and spies. Despite his Catholic beliefs, Campion was persuaded by the Bishop of Gloucester to accept holy orders as an Anglican deacon in 1564. Upon himself, he took a remorse of conscience and detestation of mind, as he said. Rumors of his secret Catholic beliefs spread, and Campion left Oxford in 1569 to travel to Ireland for private study and research. While being in Ireland, he was being pursued by English statesmen and politicians. Campion was accused of being a Catholic-minded Anglican, putting him in direct danger. For 3 months, Campion evaded his pursuers by using the alias Mr. Patrick and occupied himself with writing A History of Ireland. Campion fled Ireland, hidden in 1571, arriving at Douai in France, where he was publicly reconciled to the Catholic Church and received the Eucharist, which he had denied himself for the previous 12 years. He enrolled in the English college. Campion found himself reunited with old friends from Oxford, who fled the Anglican hunt for Catholics, just as he had done. He was to teach rhetoric while being there and complete his studies. Following this, he received minor orders and was ordained as a subdeacon. Campion then traveled to Rome on foot, disguised as a pilgrim, to join the Jesuits. He was admitted to the Society of Jesus as the first novice in April 1573 in Rome. Campion was assigned to the Austrian province, as there was not yet an English province of the Jesuits, and began his 2-year novitiate in Moravia, today's Czech Republic. In 1578, Campion was consecrated as a deacon and priest, and he celebrated his first Mass. Following this time, Campion was a professor of rhetoric and philosophy at a Jesuit college in Prague for 6 years. In 1580, the Jesuit mission to England began. It was a strictly religious mission, and the priests who traveled to England were expressly forbidden from discussing any concerns of state or policy concerning the English kingdom. Campion entered England disguised as a jewel merchant, arrived in London in June 1580, and immediately began preaching. His presence quickly became known to the government, and his fellow Catholics imprisoned in London. He lived a hunted life, distributing the sacraments and preaching to Catholics in South and Northwest England. During this period, he wrote the 10 Reasons, which argued against the validity of the Anglican Church on a theological and historical basis. This Latin pamphlet was printed in a secret press, and 400 copies were discovered on the benches of St. Mary's Church in Oxford. This sparked widespread interest in Campion, and the search for him was intensified. On his route to Norfolk, he stopped in Berkshire, where he preached for 2 days at the request of the hidden Catholic congregation. He was arrested by a spy named George Eliot and transported to London with his hands cuffed. He was imprisoned for 4 days in the Tower of London in a tiny cell called Little Ease. It was a cramped and extremely uncomfortable prison cell that gained a reputation for its horrible conditions. Campion was then taken out and questioned by 3 privy councillors on whether he recognized Queen Elizabeth as the legitimate Queen of England. He responded that he did and was offered his freedom, wealth, and honors, including the potential of becoming Archbishop of Canterbury, which he could not accept in good faith. This was not what the councillors wanted to hear. They sent him back to his cell. Campion was imprisoned in the Tower of London for over 4 months and tortured twice on the rack. False claims about Campion's withdrawal from his Catholic profession of faith and confession spread. He was forced to engage in 4 public debates with his Anglican opponents, during which they attempted to answer the issues raised by Campion's challenge to the Anglican Council and the 10 Reasons. Despite his weakness, he stood through these 4 long sessions without a chair, table, or notes. Even though he was still suffering from the effects of his torture and had no time or resources to prepare, he reportedly articulated himself so easily and readily that even the spectators in the court pleaded for amnesty. On November 14, 1581, he was prosecuted and indicted at Westminster alongside numerous others on charges of conspiring at Rome and Reims to incite a revolt in the English realm and dethrone the Queen. Campion and his fellow defendants were found guilty of treason. He answered the verdict with the following words: "In condemning us, you condemn all your own ancestors, all our ancient bishops and kings, all that was once the glory of England, the island of saints, and the most devoted child of the See of Peter." The Chief of Justice read the sentence: "You must go to the place from whence you came, there to remain until you shall be drawn through the open city of London upon hurdles to the place of execution, and there be hanged and let down alive, and your private parts cut off, and your entrails taken out and burnt in your sight. Then your heads to be cut off, and your bodies divided into 4 parts, to be disposed of at Her Majesty's pleasure. And God have mercy on your souls." After spending his last days in prayer, he was dragged with 2 fellow priests, Ralph Sherwin and Alexander Bryant, to Tyburn, where the 3 were hanged, drawn, and quartered on 1 December 1581. When interrupted and taunted on the scaffold to share his thoughts on Pope Pius V's excommunication of Elizabeth, he merely replied with a prayer for her, "Your queen and my queen." Campion was 41 years old when he entered heaven as a Catholic martyr. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to this channel to get more Catholic apologetic videos. God bless.